Good morning. My name is Ihor Michalchyshyn, and I'm the Executive Director and CEO of the Ukrainian Canadian Congress National. The UCC is the voice of Canada's 1.4 million strong Ukrainian Canadian community. We bring together under one umbrella all the national, provincial, and local Ukrainian or Canadian organizations. We're a nonpartisan organization. We don't endorse parties or candidates, and we work with all national parties who represent the interests of our community, and we build ties between Canada and Ukraine. As in past elections, the UCC will present our policy priorities and recommendations, and we survey party leaders as to their party's position on key issues. The 2025 election is taking place in the context of great uncertainty, instability, and tumult. We believe that Canada and the free world are at an inflection point. Canada's sovereignty and economy is under threat from the United States, until recently our closest ally. While the Trump administration threatens Canada, Russia wages a genocidal war of aggression against Ukraine. Just this morning, there was another massive attack on 3 regions of Ukraine with 74 drones. The future of Canada's freedom and the freedom of Europe depends on our ability to defend our sovereignty and our national interest. Assisting Ukraine in defending our independence and their independence and the independence of Europe is a fundamental national security interest. The UCC's policy recommendations focus on addressing these 2 key issues, with 5 themes, which I will describe briefly. First, Canadian security and defense. We believe Canada needs to substantially increase our spending on defense to 3% of GDP, making investments in our domestic defense industry, in our air and naval defense, securing our Arctic, and looking at developing a nuclear deterrent independent of the United States. Second, Canadian and global energy security. We believe Canada should make substantial investments in domestic energy production and pipelines to supply Europe and Asia with Canadian energy and deprive Russia of a key source of revenue for its war machine. Third, supporting Ukrainian defense. We need to increase weapons and ammunition deliveries to Ukraine, keep on providing economic support, working with allies to seize over $300 billion in Russian assets frozen in Western financial institutions. Canada should continue to stand for NATO's open door policy and support Ukraine's accession to NATO. Fourth, isolating Russia and holding Russia to account. We believe Canada should continue to lead the international coalition for the return of Ukrainian children and support the establishment of an international tribunal to prosecute the crimes Russia has committed. Canada should designate Russia as a state supporter of terror and sever all diplomatic ties. Finally, Canada should implement a full trade embargo against Russia. And fifth, finally, assisting Ukrainian displaced persons in Canada. The hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians who have come to Canada on the QIT visa program need certainty and the ability to work. Canada should automatically extend their work permits until 2028 and provide pathways to permanent residency for displaced Ukrainians and their families, as well as continuing to support community organizations who are working to integrate these newcomers. We believe that Canada should work with our provincial governments and local governments to simplify recognition of foreign credentials. The UCC's National Policy Guide is available on our website, ucc.ca. We've also sent out an in-depth survey based on these priorities to Canada's national party leaders, seeking their views on these matters. We will be publicizing the results of that survey closer to Election Day. We also take this opportunity to encourage all Canadians, especially members of our community, to get involved in the election campaign. Registering to vote, making a plan to vote, finding the local candidate that you support, and volunteering are all ways that Canadians can make a difference. Additionally, Elections Canada is seeking to hire people to help administer the election. As Ukrainian Canadians, we know how precious and how fragile democracy and freedom are. Our sisters and brothers in Ukraine are fighting valiantly to defend these democratic rights from Russian tyranny, and Canadian democracy depends on the willingness and commitment of Canadians to participate, and we hope that everyone will have their voices heard on April 28th. Slava Ukraini, Heroyam Slava. Thank you very much, and I'm open to any questions.
If journalists on Zoom have any questions, please use the raise hand function. Si les journalistes en ligne ont des questions, s'il vous plaît, utilisez la fonction main levée. Is there something you would like to add to your statement?
I can add that we have our whole guide with 19 recommendations is available on our site. We have a survey of party leaders, as I mentioned, that we hope to publish by April 12th, 13th. And we've done previous party surveys, and those are available on our site. And so people can compare the answers of party leaders from previous to